Hey folks, what's up? This is Adam here, aka Cena Guy. Welcome to the Movie Vault. Right, continuing with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Please check out my previous reviews of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. Because now we've come up to Part 4, The Dream Master. Just got done watching it moments ago. Just like every other film, I'll watch it before I review it. And that's exactly what I've done with Part 4. Now, this is funny because I've had several YouTube accounts, and they've all got terminated in the past for different reasons. But I remember getting a lot of shit when I really ranted on this movie. Because at the very beginning, before I even became this big Freddy fan, I ranted on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Saying I hated it. I hated all the goofy moments. I didn't find Freddy funny and all that kind of thing. But I don't know why I did that. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood to watch a Nightmare on Elm Street film, which is weird because I'm now this big Freddy fanatic with the Freddy tattoo. And I've got a poster of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 right here. Got the franchise on Blu-ray. I even have a picture of Soul Pizza right here, as you can see. That up there shows a picture of Freddy with the Soul Pizza like you see in this movie. And I've got loads of items of Freddy Krueger, like posters, DVDs, action figures, plush dolls, cushions, everything. And I don't know what was wrong with me at the time, but I just ranted on the movie saying I really hated it. It's the worst one in the franchise, but I've warmed up to the movie now. I've really warmed up with it. I was confused about which film I did not really like, which was Part 4 or Part 5. But now after watching Part 4, it is definitely Part 5, the one that I disliked of the franchise. I'm still not a fan of that movie today, and I'll get to that when I review it. But Part 4, The Dream Master, it's a nice little watch. I think it's okay. I definitely don't like it more than Part 3, The Dream Warriors. And hell, I even like Freddy's Revenge even more than Part 4. Many people are going to say, why? They're going to come on here, they're going to send me abuse, they're going to... I'll say, bring your shit, because I'm bulletproof when it comes to things like that, I don't take death threats seriously or cyberbullying or anything like that. But I remember getting a lot of abusive comments from people when I really dissed Part 4, The Dream Master. But despite it being my own opinion, you know what I mean? And everyone's entitled to that. But there you go. But anyway, I just got done watching Dream Master moments ago. Like I said, this movie, I believe, came out in the year of 1998. Just double checking, 1998. In fact, its official release date was August 19th of 1988. And it's on for 93 minutes, which is a good pace. And this movie was a big hit. Made nearly 50 million at the box office. In fact, its official making was $49.4 million at the box office, with a budget of $6.5 million. Wow. So this movie was a big hit. Everyone loved it. And it actually got some praise from critics as well. Basically, the film opens up. We get introduced to the remaining Dream Warriors from Part 3, but sadly they die in this movie. Kristen is still got this image at the back of her mind that Freddy's not dead. Despite the boiler being cold, despite all the chaos that went through trying to send Freddy to hell like they did in Part 3, she still thinks he's alive. And she even uses her old powers from Part 3 to bring people into her dreams, like she does with the previous two Dream Warriors. But we do get introduced to Lisa Wilcox's character, Alice. And I must say, I'm a big fan of Alice's character in this. She's like a badass, a go-getter. I mean, I like Heather Langenkamp, don't get me wrong. Heather Langenkamp will always be my favourite hero out of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I mean, like I said, she was in Part 1. They killed her off in Part 3 in kind of a dumb fashion because I kind of expected Heather Langenkamp's character to survive as Nancy in Part 3. Because Freddy's disguised as John Saxon's character, the father. Mr. Thompson, who's the sheriff, and he ends up killing Nancy off. And I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't Nancy be a little bit more smarter? But that was not the case. But nothing too much to complain about. Anyway, one of the surviving dream warriors is like, stop bringing this into your dreams. Can't you understand that, the border's cold, the atmosphere's right, Freddy's dead, and that's when we get introduced to Alice and her boyfriend, Dan, But Joey comes to his demise in this film in, like, a weird way, because he's fantasizing about all these women, and he's on a waterbed. He sees the image of this woman, like, inside his waterbed, and then when he gets close to the waterbed, Freddy pulls him in and kills him, but then when his body gets discovered, he's inside the waterbed dead. I have to admit, I did like the scrapyard scene, the junkyard with all the cars. One of the characters thinks he's killed Freddy by throwing the car on top of him. He was like, take that, motherfucker. But he comes to his demise because Freddy stabs him. So that's another surviving character gone. I mean, Freddy gets resurrected with dog piss, basically, in this movie. I mean, he's got a dog called Jason, who brings Freddy back. I was like, how ironic is that? In part 4, it's Jason who brings back Freddy, and in Freddy vs. Jason, it's Freddy who brings back Jason. But he's got a dog called Jason, and he can piss fire, basically. It pisses on Freddy's remains, and then Freddy comes back. Again, great effects, just like in the third movie. Freddy's bones are all connected together, the flesh starts to bubble and mould, all coming back together, and Freddy's back. Now, the creativity is just like the third movie. I thought they did good with the practical effects. I will admit I liked the characters in part 3 a little bit more than I did in part 4. Although I was a big fan of Alice's character. I did like Alice. I admit I liked Alice and her boyfriend Dan, being like the survivors who were trying to kill Freddy off. But in my opinion, the Dream Warriors, I thought they worked better as a team. They worked better as teamwork, with Nancy being the the leader of the group, teaching them all that they've got this power and they all need to use it because their parents were like the ones who killed Freddy and they're the last surviving Elm Street kids. Here in part 4, it's basically like Freddy coming back, trying to continue from where he left off, basically. And I want to talk about one famous scene that happened in this movie. There's a sequence where things are happening all over again, like a dream sequence. Alice and Dan are like driving a vehicle, and then he cuts, and then he goes back to another scene, and then they're driving the vehicle again, and he's like, wait a minute, this has happened before, right? It's a dream sequence, it's repeating itself over and over again. Now, of course, me being the retard I used to be, I was like, they're using that scene just to waste time, movie time. But again, I don't feel that way now. I'm more mature, I'm more grown up now. It's a dream sequence. You're going to see crazy shit in the dream world, and even I've had dreams where a sequence has happened more than once where it repeats itself. I don't know if that's me being crazy, or I think it's happened to all of us, where we dream about the same thing going over and over and over again. However, they do say the definition of insanity is when you repeat the same thing over and over and over again, They end up crashing the vehicle, getting taken to a facility, like. But throughout the movie, we get all these different scenes, of I like the scene in the classroom, where we get introduced to this chick and she says she dies of asthma because Freddy's in the classroom, she falls asleep, and he sucks the life out of her, like as if he's giving her a kiss, but he sucks the life out of her and she's basically just skin on bones. I like that scene. I like the elevator scene also, the elevator from hell, And this scene I didn't mind. People had a lot of issues with this scene, where the girl is fighting Invisible Freddy. I did not mind that scene, Freddy's going to use whatever he can as possible as his big dream master to defeat his victims. He does it with style. In terms of killings, the killings were interesting, but I'd have to say my favourite killing in this movie was that tough chick where she was like doing the weights, and Freddy like presses down like on the weights and breaks her arms. You know, she's crawling in her face, gets all dismembered. And I'm thinking, ugh, you know, that's a bit sick. You know. So in every single Nightmare on Elm Street film, I've got a favourite killing. In part one, my favourite killing would probably have to be Tina's death. You know, where she's like rotating around the room and she lands and she splatters. My favourite part two, killer would probably have to be Grady's death because it's so original. In part three, that's my favourite death in the whole franchise, where it's Philip, you know, going like a fucking puppet, and then he ends up falling into his death with people believing it was suicide. Well, I'd have to say my part four, my favourite would have to be the book scene. You know, where her arms get snapped, her face gets dismembered, her skin comes off, and she ends up turning into this giant bug. You know, so I have to say that was a disgusting scene, but it was really great. The effects of how they made that. I mean, don't forget this movie came out in the year of 1988, so back then it was much more harder with the effects and everything. So, but the way they really pulled it off was really effective, and it did make the audience feel sick. You know, at least when I watch it, even now, I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a sick scene. Beach scene, you know, the beach scene. You know, we had like a bit of reference from Jaws. You know, where the shark's fin turns into Freddy's glove and then he appears on the beach. He puts on the shade and stamps on the girl's head, burying her in the sand. You know, so there are some great creative moments. I mean, I thought part 3 was more creative than part 4, but part 4 just have its moments of enjoyment. So, I mean, this is the time now where we see Freddy completely comedic. Yeah, he kills his victims, but he's more comedic with his one-liners, you know, in this movie. You know, he seems to crack a joke every time, especially with the soul pizza. You know, where they have that pizza and all the different pizzas, the victims' heads are on the pizza. He's like, soul food, you know, and eats the meatball when really it was the victim's head. You know, and Robert Englund, you can tell, was the star of the show. You know, they put Robert Englund above it, even the trailers on Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger, part 4, you know, the Dream Master. Okay. So overall, after watching Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, like I say, I like it a lot better than I did back in the day. You know, I understand now that Part 4, it wasn't as bad as I was making out. A lot of people did praise the movie, saying it's probably one of the better entries in the franchise. I find that hard to disagree with some of the facts that they give out. But it's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, is the one that I'm not particularly a big fan of. And I've got to watch that before I review it in the next movie, and I'm dreading it because I know it was one of the poorest ones. But kudos to Robert Englund for doing a great job as Freddy, reprising the role. I love the Alice character. I thought she did a good job of being tough, you know, because she has powers and abilities in this movie, like in the scene where she's doing martial arts, and even the scene where she throws away the cigarette, saying, "Wait, I don't smoke," you know. That's from a different soul person, but she's getting like all these soul powers, you know. So yeah, it's a nice little watch. I wouldn't say it's one of the Nightmare films that I would watch continuously again and again. I mean, I've seen Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 continuously all over again. Part 4 and onwards, I've only seen them like a few times, but again, they were nice little revisits, you know, if that works. In regards to the 4 Dream Master, we've got some features on this, because like I say, I've got the Blu-ray box set right here. And here we have in number 4, the 4 features. Oh, by the way, before I move on, I'd just like to say I love the music in this movie. I love that rock music where Alice is getting ready to fight Freddy. Fucking A. I love that song. Okay. We've got the trailer in the features. The finish line, Krueger, Freddy Krueger, hopeless chest and less makeup. So part 4 doesn't really have much of special features. Only 4 as a matter of fact. To tell you the truth, I enjoy the special features in part 5 even more than this, because part 5 has got that music video of the Fat Boys, Are You Ready for Freddy? You know, and I love that little video, that little music video of Freddy Krueger. Part 4, I would have wished I would have seen a little bit more. It's not really showing much as in terms of special features for the Dream Master, So I'm going to wrap this up now, everybody. But saying I'm glad that I did watch this. I don't dislike it as much as I did. I like it a little bit more. I've seen my entire life. This is probably like the fifth or sixth time I've watched it properly all the way through. But again, I'm really glad that I did. I'm enjoying watching these Nightmare on Elm Streets all over again. Just so I can review them. It's good fun, and there are some people out there who like me to hear my thoughts on Freddy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this, everybody. That's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Got any questions? Leave them below. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.